Hi, Mahesh Grossman here from Joy in 1 Minute, the 1 minute anxiety solution, and Berkeley Hypnosis and Pain Management. Today I'm going to talk about the fact that one shift can turn a bad mood into a happy one. Here's what I'm thinking about. There's a fatal flaw in the way we think when we're unhappy. And that flaw is to believe that either what's happening to us or who we are, there's something wrong with us or our situation. Let me explain. It starts off like this. I'll tell you what's been going on with me this week, and you'll see that I'm going through this stuff myself. I just launched my book with Facebook ads, the very beginning stage of getting it out there. This is the 1 minute anxiety solution, 57 ways to lower your anxiety, take back your life, and get back to your pre-anxiety self. And it started, and I thought I had a pretty good ad. I'd taken some workshops on creating the ad, and it cost me $40 to sell my first $7 ebook. And things got better, but there were some problems. And the first night where I had spent $40 to make one sale, I was pretty freaked out because, you can't lose $33 to sell a book over and over again. And what happens at those times is I think that there's something wrong with me. That is the biggest problem I see in my life when I get upset, when I'm in a bad mood, or I think there's something wrong with what's happening in my life. But the truth of the matter is we are always exactly the way we're supposed to be. Always, always, always. And that's a really big deal. That is the premise behind a lot of the greatest spiritual teachers. That's the premise behind Byron Katie's The Work. That's the premise behind all karma, because at some point, if you believe in karma, then everybody's exactly the way they're supposed to be. I had a vision around this stuff. Back in 1987, there was something called the harmonic convergence. Some of you may have heard about the harmonic convergence. At any rate, there were 6 planets lined up, and the sun and the moon, to form an equilateral triangle, and people were supposed to have experiences that were 20 years beyond their present capability. And I had one. I had a vision that I saw the Earth from outer space with small white blurs that were the human race, and everything that happened served higher spiritual goals, and the good and bad we do to one another somehow helped us heal each other's souls. And the reason that rhymes is I started writing a musical about it, and that was the song about the vision. But it was really clear that what happens is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and I'm exactly the way I'm supposed to be. I can't be any different than how I am at any given time, and neither can you. We have so many things, so many factors that go into our personality, and that includes our biology, that includes our psychology, that includes what happens to us in life, and we're supposed to be the way we are. And the minute we think there's something wrong with us, that's the moment that we're unhappy. It's a fatal flaw, because as soon as you change your thinking, as soon as I change my thinking to I'm okay. It's okay that I am this way. It's okay that I'm not getting the results I want. It's okay that somebody doesn't like me. It's okay that I have a physical injury. It's okay that all kinds of things, right? You know the list, all the things we criticize ourselves about too. You know, for me, a big one was about being on time, and there was I had so much self-criticism about it that one of the things I did to make myself feel better, and it was actually pretty cool. It actually worked pretty well. Was I imagined that I had a past life. And if there's anything you really criticize yourself really badly about, this is a pretty cool thing to do. I imagined that I had a past life where I hated anyone who was late. Not only did I hate them, I actually was violent, threw them into prison, had them beheaded, all kinds of crazy, intense things. And that the only way I could learn how to love people the way they were who were late was to be somebody who was late. So I used that. And not that I want to be late. You know, I like being on time when I can, but I tend to run late. And this really helped. I mean, the question to always ask yourself in these situations is, what if it's okay that I'm whatever? That I'm fat, that I'm still smoking, that I'm, not doing well at work. We have this whole list of items that we make ourselves wrong for, but we certainly can't be any different in the moment that it's happening to us, in the moment that we're realizing it. We really can't be different in that situation. We may have the seeds of change within us. We may notice there's something that we need to look at. And that's perfectly fine. It's okay to have something you need to look at. It's okay to look at yourself and say, oh, I need to change this. I'm making a mistake here. That's okay. But there's no need to beat yourself up for the reason that you don't know. You didn't know or recognize how you were before that moment. I once heard the expression that the way to work with mistakes is to look at them, learn from them, and let them go. And that's been a really powerful tool for me for, 30, 40 years. Not quite 40 years. But it's definitely the way things worked when I saw them properly. Because the subconscious or the unconscious gives up what it wants to give up when it wants to give that up. We do not create aha moments. Aha moments come from who knows where. And so we criticize ourselves. We criticize ourselves for not knowing something that we don't know, or not being able to do something we can't do in a particular moment. And that's where pain comes from. We have so much self-judgment. And if you watched my last video, I think a lot of the self-judgment we have actually isn't even from ourselves. It's from the parents or the siblings that we internalized. We carry these beliefs about our life from our mother and our father, and apparently from siblings. I only know that from working with clients. I don't know that from personal experience, because my sister's 7.5 years younger than I am, and so she was more of a child to me than a sibling. So it's always interesting to me when I work with a hypnosis client, and the issue that they're working with really does come from their brother or their sister, and that's really cool. So the trick is to just take a moment, and I tend to work more deeply than this, but I really do like these two sentences. What if I'm supposed to be blank? What if I'm supposed to be bad at this? What if I'm supposed to be looking older than I did? What if I'm supposed to have gained weight during the whole pandemic? And what if I'm supposed to be bad at things? At this moment, at least. What if I'm supposed to fail? And if you can say, oh wait, that I am supposed to be that way, then all of a sudden you're totally in harmony with how life is. You're totally in harmony with yourself. And once you stop deflecting or pushing against what's really happening, that's just the way it is. That's just the effect that you need to feel better. When you stop resisting what's happening in life and accepting the way things are without making yourself not change, you can be, the desire to change is also the way things are in a given moment. So it's not to say don't change, it's to say don't beat yourself up for what you're not doing well. And as I said, sometimes there's like an internal parent that's giving you these messages. You've kind of absorbed a message that really belonged to your parent. A lot of times what I see with people is that the parent thinks something is bad internally because they were given a message that they wouldn't be loved if they were a certain way. And so we internalize those things. We can feel that our parents disapprove of something without realizing it's just their fear of not being loved and not ours. So I have a technique that I thought I'd share today to help get rid of the stuff that you're carrying from your parents. I use it on myself. I've used it on clients. It actually started with a client who had just broken up with someone, or had been broken. He dumped her and cheated on her, and she still wanted him back. And so she couldn't figure out what to do, and I created this kind of super magnet technique to help her kind of have him take the energy she was carrying from him out of her. And then I've found it to be incredibly effective to working with one's parents, the internalized energy we've taken from our parents. So the first step in this process is just close your eyes for a second, take a few deep breaths, and just imagine one of your parents standing in front of you with a giant magnet. And as you stand there with them, this magnet pulls out energy of theirs that doesn't belong to you, that you're carrying. And all kinds of things. Sometimes people see things. I had one woman who had a very critical mother see all these daggers coming out of her. And so see what's happening with that. Just take a minute to feel what that feels like. And experience that. And then when the magnet's full, let your mother or your father throw the magnet into the sun and let it burn up. And you can repeat that as many times as necessary. If the magnet gets full, the magnet gets full. So that's kind of the technique, and you can do it with both parents. You can do it with anybody else that you may have taken energy in from that doesn't belong to you, whose beliefs make you believe negative things about yourself, even if you're not quite aware that that's how it is. You pick up on it if you do that kind of work. So that's kind of the technique. And but while I've got you, let's just also talk about how we feel about other people, because we judge ourselves as being wrong for being how we are, that means we judge other people in the same fashion. And so what if it's okay? See, if you can say, what if it's okay that I am the way I am? What if I'm supposed to be the way I am? Then you can say the same thing about other people. What if someone that bothers you is supposed to be the way they are? I mean, most of the time we really can't help. It may look like we have a choice, but we really can't help the way we are. We can know things intellectually that we shouldn't do, but feel compelled to do them anyway. Ranging from, eating an extra cookie to, all the other stuff, as bad as it gets. Cheating on a partner, looking at porn, smoking and picking up that cigarette. I mean, everything a human being can do, human beings do. So there's a way of accepting the way things are. And knowing that things can be better, and knowing that the impulse to change is perfectly fine and important. But things are the way they are right now. And the shift in consciousness that's necessary, let's say just on our own part, we need to shift. And we don't make that shift happen. It just suddenly happens. And that happens with everybody and everything. And it happens with the zeitgeist. I mean, it's fascinating to me that it's taken years for it to be okay with the NFL for people to take a knee during the national anthem. That NASCAR has suddenly banned the Confederate flag. That many statues of Confederate heroes who propagated slavery, it was a really big thing when people tried to have them removed, and now in a lot of cases it's suddenly fine. And that happened. But it didn't happen all at once. It happened in this weird shift in consciousness that's happening on the planet at this particular time, and that hadn't happened yet. It's like there's these concepts come into consciousness, but they have to get to a certain point where people are comfortable with making the kind of changes that they want to make. And that happens on a broad societal level, but it also happens on a personal level. We are capable of making change when we're capable of making change, and not before. And we're capable of noticing we're doing something wrong. Probably, wrong is not the right word. Doing something that we'd like to change is more of how I'd like to see it. Think about it. But we're capable of that only in the moment we're capable of seeing. As I said earlier, no one makes their own aha moments. No one thinks their way into an aha moment. You may look at something and think about it and think about it and think about it, but the aha moment kind of happens on its own, Mine are in the shower a lot. I have a lot of aha moments either in the shower, or on the throne, near water. I used to say, boy, if I could just be in water 24 hours a day, I'd be the wisest, most enlightened, most effective person on the planet. And the most wrinkled. But, so that's today's session. That's today's live. I hope you get something out of it. Just be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to accept the way you are. And if you find that you are in a bad mood because of something, see if the bad mood is because you're judging yourself. See if you can shift your thinking, shift your energy to, what if it's okay that I am the way I am? What if I'm supposed to be the way I am? Or what if the other person's supposed to be the way they are? And that's it for today. Thanks.